Well, good afternoon, everyone. I think the most important people in the room seem to be behind a lot of the adults, so maybe we could make some space so that they can see everything that's going on. Well, hello, everyone. You're very welcome here in the House of Commons. And as a few people I'm sure have said, there you go, you're the most important people here. Just come to the front. This is your Parliament, so you're very welcome here, even though you might not be old enough to vote yet. This place is just as important for you as it is for anyone else. In fact, in many ways, it's even more important because it's your future that the decisions in this place are made for. So really important you're here, and thank you for coming along. I don't know what you've got out of in class today to be here, but I'm sure you're missing it and you'll catch up with it later on. I'm Michael Shanks, I'm the Energy Minister, but before I was elected to Parliament, I was a teacher. And so this is really important for me, not just because of the changes we want to make to the energy system, but because the work that this also involves in working with young people to learn about your future, and you being part of this, and what all the tables are so interesting about is you've got engaged in learning all about this. It's really important to me as well. So thank you for being here today. I just want to say a couple of things really quickly, and then I'm interested in seeing more of what goes on at your tables. But first of all, there's a big idea at the heart of this, which is about the future of our planet. And I'm a bit older than all of you, so I'll be long gone at the point where you're all still trying to do whatever it is you choose you're going to do later in life. You're going to be the future teachers and engineers, and one of you will be the Prime Minister of this country at some point in the future. And that's a huge amount of responsibility, but it's also a huge responsibility on us now, because the truth is, for too long, we haven't done enough to improve the planet that we live in. We haven't done enough to protect it for your generation, and we need to do much more. And so it's really important you're here today, reminding us that in amongst all the political arguments that go on in this place, and there's a lot of arguments that go on in this place, actually the big idea at the heart of this is your future and the future of this planet. So it's really important. And we've got some other people talking. So firstly, tackling climate change is a huge priority. Don't let anyone tell you that we can put off to tomorrow the issue of climate change. We have to tackle it now. And there's lots of things we can do to make that happen. We've got a role here in the UK about reducing the amount of fossil fuels that are in our energy system. That's why solar panels on your rooftops are important, but it's also why today we're celebrating the 25th birthday of offshore wind. All of these technologies are really important for us to build the power system of the future, but one that doesn't involve fossil fuels, which is what's contributed to so much of climate change. So it's really important that we take that action now. Secondly, we also want to bring down bills. So we know that energy is too expensive at the moment, and that means your school is spending much more on keeping the lights on than they should be. We want more money to go right into the things that are really important to your learning and to improving your experience at school. And so this project helps us achieve our clean power mission as a country, but it also helps to bring down bills so that you can spend money on things that are really important. And one of my favourite visits recently was to a school in Milton Keynes, one of the first schools to get solar panels on the roof. And what all the kids were telling me was the school saved about £4,500 a year, and they were telling me that they got to have a choice in where that money would be spent in the school on things that improved their education and gave them other opportunities. So that's really important. And the third thing is, quite often, if we're honest, we probably don't think about where the electricity actually comes from. When we wake up in the morning and we switch the bedroom light on and light just comes on, you probably aren't thinking about how complex it is for it to get to that point. But the world we live in at the moment is a bit different from where it's been in the past, and there's uncertainty about a lot of things that we used to take for granted. And that means thinking about the security of energy supplies here in the UK is even more important. So putting solar panels on rooftops, as many rooftops as we can, building wind turbines, all of these things are really important, so we've got electricity made here in the UK that we can rely on, so that when you plug your phone in or you switch the light on, you know you're going to have electricity day after day. And learning about that is really important as well. So I'm glad all of your schools haven't just put the solar panels on the rooftops, but you've been learning about what that means as well, because that's really important. And let me just say lastly, because this room is extremely warm. Why is it so warm in here? Goodness. We could save a lot of energy by turning down the temperature in here. I'm going to go and sort that out after I leave here. Last thing I want to say is, quite often in politics, we sort of miss what is the sort of big argument about changing the world. And because I used to be a teacher, First of all, I learned two things from that. The first thing is it's useful in the House of Commons because I used to deal with children in Glasgow that would shout at me all day long. And now I'm in the House of Commons where people who act a bit like children sometimes shout at me all day long. But the second thing is it's quite easy in politics to think that you can't change the world and that everything is just a problem and that you shouldn't try because it might be too difficult. Well, the most important thing for you to remember right now is you have the ability to change the world. And it might be difficult. In fact, all the best things in life are really difficult, but you should try anyway. And you should try all different things. Some things won't succeed, some things will fail, but you learn from it and you do something else and you build on it and you change the world. Because in truth, in history, the only thing that's ever changed the world are people who got together and said, we're going to change this for the better because we don't think this is the best way. You're the people we're relying on to help us do that. So my ask of you is, do all the politicians that are going to come in and out of here today to see you, tell them about what you've been doing, but also ask them what you want them to do for you, because it's really important that all these MPs come away from here today not just saying, oh, that was a really good visit and I got a photo with some really interesting things, but I also came away with a list of things that I've now got to do to make the world a better place for all of you. So that's my ask. You've already sent me lots of things. And in my office, if you ever come to the Department for Energy, the only artwork I've got up in my office are posters made from those school children in Milton Keynes who made a whole range of posters about climate change, around the energy transition. But the one that sits right next to my desk says, we can change the world if we work together. And that's really important for you all to remember. So thank you so much for being here in Parliament today. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Come back again soon and keep up the good work because it's hugely important. Thank you.